If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the chaos of modern life, you're not alone. But what if the solution isn't to escape it, but to find tranquility within it? A Roman emperor, writing almost 2,000 years ago, discovered a way to stay calm under immense pressure. Could his private notes unlock your modern-day resilience?
Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Summary and key ideas.
Almost 2 millennia ago, a Roman emperor sat down not to write a book for the masses, but to journal for himself. These weren't grand pronouncements, but intimate reflections from a man grappling with the same questions we face today. How do we deal with difficult people? How do we find meaning? How do we face our own mortality? Meditations is the surprising result, a collection of private notes that became one of history's most influential works of Stoic philosophy. It's a practical guide to living a life of virtue and reason, forged in the intense crucible of absolute power and constant war. This isn't a dense philosophical text for academics. It's an operating manual for the human mind, written by a man who needed it most.
Who is this book for?
Leaders making high-stakes decisions who want an ethical, calm mindset to guide them through pressure and uncertainty. Ambitious professionals feeling overwhelmed by stress, office politics, and the constant demand to do more, who are looking for a framework to build unshakable inner resilience. Overthinkers who obsess about what others think, replay past mistakes, and want to reclaim their mental energy by focusing only on what they can control. Anyone curious about Stoicism and looking for a practical day-to-day philosophy to live a more meaningful and tranquil life, free from the anxiety of modern society.
About Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius, 121 to 180 AD, was the last of the 5 good emperors of Rome, a line of rulers who presided over a period of relative peace known as the Pax Romana. However, his own reign was anything but peaceful. A devoted student of Stoic philosophy from a young age, he was thrust into a position of immense power he never truly sought. His rule was marked by near-constant warfare on the empire's borders, a devastating plague that ravaged the population, and the immense administrative burden of managing a vast empire. Despite these pressures, he is remembered not for his military campaigns, but for his profound commitment to reason, virtue, and self-discipline. Meditations is the raw, unfiltered product of this struggle, a personal journal where he applied his philosophical training to the harsh realities of his daily life, seeking to be a good man in a world that constantly tested his resolve.
Story Shot 1. How should you react to other people's malice?
When people try to harm us, the natural reaction is to seek revenge or dwell on the injustice. This, Aurelius warns, is a trap that gives them power over our peace of mind. As he notes, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Focusing on their negativity corrupts our own inner tranquility. Instead, understand that their actions often stem from ignorance of what is good and evil. They are the ones truly harmed, for they have compromised their character. Your job is to maintain your own integrity. By refusing to engage, you reclaim your power and protect your inner self from corruption. You remain undisturbed, not because the world is perfect, but because your peace of mind no longer depends on the actions of others. Try this. The next time someone offends you, pause and ask, what false understanding of good and evil led them to act this way? Then turn your focus back to your own principles.
Story Shot 2. How can you conquer your inner laziness?
We all have an inner voice that craves comfort and the path of least resistance. This internal conflict is a constant, daily battle. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, Aurelius reminds us, and a lazy mind cannot produce quality thoughts. He famously asked himself, "Were you born to feel nice?" He observed that bees, ants, and birds all go about their daily tasks without complaint. Are we, with our unique capacity for reason, meant to do less? The solution is to become a stern but loving guardian to your inner self, guiding your lazy inner child away from distraction. It's about treating every task with the seriousness it deserves. When you feel the pull of procrastination, your inner guardian should remind you of your purpose. By appointing this guardian, you create an internal system of accountability and become the active director of your life. This is the path to true freedom, the freedom to do what you know you should do. Try this. The next time you feel the urge to procrastinate, have a direct conversation with your inner self. Acknowledge the desire for comfort, but then have your inner guardian firmly state the importance of the task.
Story shot 3. Why is death the ultimate motivator?
We often live as if we are immortal, wasting our finite time on trivialities. The Stoic concept of memento mori, remember that you will die, is a powerful tool for clarification. When you internalize that you could be gone tomorrow, the unimportant things fall away. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live, he writes. Aurelius reminds us, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This constant reminder acts as a filter, helping you distinguish what truly matters from what is merely a distraction. It's the ultimate antidote to worrying about what others think. When you live with the reality of death in mind, you stop competing with others and start competing against time. The reality of death liberates you from the prison of social approval and gives you the courage to live an authentic life. Try this. At the end of each day, ask yourself, if I were to die tonight, would I be content with how I live today? Did I act with virtue and focus on what truly matters?
Story shot 4. Why is your own opinion the only one that matters?
Our life is what our thoughts make it. This is a cornerstone of Stoic thought. We live in a world obsessed with external validation, a recipe for misery because it places our happiness in the hands of others. The reality of your life, Aurelius argues, isn't shaped by objective events, but by the judgments you make about them. As he observed, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. The power to change your life lies not in changing your circumstances, but in changing your opinion. To be a true Stoic, you must protect your mind from the interference of outside opinions and the poison of comparison. When you stop seeking external validation, you reclaim your autonomy and become the sole arbiter of your own worth. Your tranquility comes from within, from living in accordance with your own values. Which of these first 4 ideas hits closest to how you live right now, and which one do you most want to change? Try this. The next time you find yourself seeking validation, stop. Instead, write down for yourself why you believe it was the right thing to do. Make your own judgment the final verdict.
Story shot 5. Why is your rational mind your greatest superpower?
We often amplify small events into catastrophes, a feeling of helplessness that is a prison we build for ourselves. Your ability to reason is your superpower. Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This realization was the source of his legendary composure. Your rational mind is a citadel. As long as you retreat into it, you are safe. The outside world can't touch your inner peace unless you allow it. Think of your mind as separate from the events around you. It has the power to choose how to interpret everything. The event itself is neutral. Your judgment gives it color. As he wrote, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. When you master your own mind, you achieve the ultimate form of freedom, no longer a slave to your emotions or external circumstances. Try this. The next time you feel overwhelmed, Pause and create a mental separation. Say to yourself, this is the event, and this is my judgment about it. They are not the same thing. Then consciously adopt a more rational perspective.
Story Shot 6. What is your true purpose?
As a modern Stoic slogan puts it, what we do now echoes in eternity. A sentiment found throughout meditations. We often chase happiness through self-centered pursuits, which can leave us feeling empty. Your true purpose, Aurelius argues, is to work for the good of humankind. We are social beings, designed by nature to live and work in harmony. Helping others isn't a sacrifice, it's the highest expression of our nature and the most direct path to a meaningful life. As Aurelius reminded himself, he was born to serve the Roman people. You can apply this same principle by identifying your unique talents and using them for the benefit of your community. The key is to shift your focus from what you can get to what you can give. When you make this shift, you discover a deeper, more enduring form of happiness. The contentment of those you help becomes your reward. Try this. Identify one of your unique talents. This week, find one small way to use that talent to help someone else without expecting anything in return. Enjoying this insight? The Story Shots app includes an exclusive infographic mapping out the core principles of Stoicism, plus a PDF version you can read on your ebook reader. Download the Story Shots app to elevate your learning.
Story Shot 7. How can you find good in everything that happens?
Life is full of obstacles. Our natural tendency is to see them as purely negative, to feel like victims. This victim mentality is a choice that keeps us trapped. Your mind has the power to interpret everything that happens to you. As Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means any obstacle can be transformed into an opportunity. The obstacle is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced as a new path forward. When you face a setback, you can see it as a chance to practice a virtue. A betrayal is an opportunity to practice forgiveness. A financial loss is an opportunity to practice detachment. By adopting this mindset, you become invincible. Nothing can truly harm you, because you can use everything that happens for your own growth. You become an alchemist who can turn the lead of misfortune into the gold of virtue. Try this. The next time you face a setback, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What virtue can I practice in this situation? What new path has this obstacle opened up for me?"
Story Shot 8. Why are fame and pleasure empty pursuits?
Our culture tells us that happiness is found in fame, wealth, and social status. But this pursuit is a trap, a hedonic treadmill where the finish line is always moving. The problem with chasing fame and pleasure is that they are external and fleeting. Your reputation is in the hands of others. Pleasure is a temporary sensation that quickly fades. True happiness, Aurelius insists, comes not from external validation, but from internal virtue. It comes from the quiet satisfaction of knowing you have done the right thing, that you have acted with integrity. When you do a good deed, the act itself is the reward. Why do you need the applause of others? The beauty of a kind act is not enhanced by praise. When you free yourself from the desire for fame and pleasure, you liberate yourself from a major source of anxiety and moral compromise. You can act with integrity, knowing your happiness is not dependent on anything outside your own control. Try this. The next time you accomplish something you're proud of, resist the urge to immediately share it for praise. Instead, sit with the feeling of accomplishment yourself. Let your own internal validation be enough. Which of these ideas resonates most with you and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Mental models from meditations.
The obstacle is the way. Amor fati. Description. This Stoic principle, often summarized as amor fati, or love of fate, reframes every obstacle not as a barrier, but as the very path itself. What stands in the way becomes the way. How it works. Instead of resisting or complaining about challenges, you embrace them as raw material for practicing virtue. The event itself is neutral. Your response defines its value. A difficult coworker is an opportunity to practice patience. A project failure is a chance to practice resilience. By choosing to see the obstacle as a necessary part of your journey, you transform it from a source of stress into a source of strength. Application beyond philosophy. In the startup world, this model is the essence of the pivot. When a product launch fails, the obstacle, an entrepreneur doesn't just shut down. They analyze the failure, extract the lessons, the opportunity, and use that new knowledge to build a better product. The failure isn't the end of the road. It becomes the road itself. The inner citadel. Description. Your mind is a fortress that no external event can breach without your consent. This mental sanctuary is a source of unshakable tranquility you can retreat to at any moment. How it works. The model is built on the Stoic distinction between what is in your control, your thoughts, judgments, and what is not, everything else. By focusing exclusively on what you can control, you build internal walls that protect you from external turmoil. External events can rage, economies can collapse, people can betray you, but within the citadel you remain calm, rational, and in command of yourself. It is a declaration of mental sovereignty. Application beyond philosophy. Consider a social media manager facing a barrage of public criticism. A reactive approach would be to get defensive or distressed. By applying the inner citadel model, the manager acknowledges the criticism without letting it breach their professional calm. They retreat to their rational mind to analyze the feedback objectively, separate valid points from baseless attacks, and formulate a strategic, values-driven response, all without sacrificing their inner peace.
Implementation Guide.
Today, practice the dichotomy of control. For the rest of the day, every time you feel a surge of frustration or anxiety, pause and ask, is the cause of this feeling within my control or outside of it? If it's outside your control, like traffic or another person's opinion, consciously decide to withhold judgment. If it is within your control, your own reaction, focus all your energy there. This week, conduct a worry audit. Set aside 15 minutes. Write down every single thing you are currently worried about. Then, for each item, write down a single, concrete, actionable step you can take. If there is no actionable step because it is outside your control, cross it off the list. This exercise translates vague anxieties into a clear action plan. Ongoing practice. Evening reflection. Before you go to sleep each night, spend 5 minutes reviewing your day. Don't judge yourself. Simply ask, when was I at my best today? When did I let external events disturb my peace? What can I learn from my mistakes that will help me tomorrow? This practice builds self-awareness and reinforces your commitment to living virtuously.
Final summary and review.
Meditations is not a book in the traditional sense. It's a personal operating system for the human mind. Reading it feels like a direct, intimate conversation with one of history's wisest and most powerful figures, only to discover that he was wrestling with the same demons of doubt, frustration, and mortality that we do. The enduring power of the book lies in its raw, unpolished honesty. These were not thoughts crafted for an audience, but practical, urgent reminders from a man trying to be good in a world that was often anything but. The core message is simple to understand, yet a lifelong challenge to master. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. As a manual for life, meditations can feel repetitive and occasionally vague, especially if you're looking for step-by-step, tactical advice or modern, relatable examples. Aurelius circles back to the same core themes, the shortness of life, the importance of reason, the need to serve others, again and again. If you prefer tightly structured, narrative-driven frameworks, you might find his fragmented aphoristic notes harder to engage with. But for those seeking a daily companion for reflection, a source of timeless wisdom to ground them in the chaos of modern life, it's hard to beat. What's one Stoic practice from this summary that you'll actually try tonight or tomorrow?
Related book summaries.
Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. If Meditations is the private journal of a Stoic master, Letters from a Stoic is your personal correspondence course in the same philosophy. Seneca, another giant of Stoic thought, offers practical, actionable advice on everything from friendship and success to dealing with grief and anxiety. If you appreciated the practical wisdom of Aurelius, Seneca's letters will give you even more tools for your mental toolkit. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. You've just absorbed the core principles of Stoicism. Now, how do you make it a daily practice? The Daily Stoic is the answer. It provides a page a day of Stoic wisdom, featuring quotes from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, followed by a brief, modern commentary. It's the perfect way to keep these powerful ideas at the front of your mind every single day. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Marcus Aurelius wrote about finding meaning and purpose in the face of immense suffering. Viktor Frankl lived it. A psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, Frankl argues that our primary drive in life is not pleasure, but the discovery and pursuit of what we personally find meaningful. If you were moved by the Stoic emphasis on inner strength, Frankl's story will show you that same strength forged in the most extreme circumstances imaginable. Ready to explore these Stoic and meaning-packed titles in more depth? Get full access to the StoryShots library, ad-free text, audio, animated summaries, and infographics for meditations and 1 million more books. Join 1 million plus learners who are outgrowing their past selves, one summary at a time.
Bonus FAQ: Understanding Meditations and Stoicism.
What is the single biggest takeaway from Meditations? The core idea is the dichotomy of control, the principle that some things are within our control and some are not. The only things we truly control are our own thoughts, judgments, and actions. Everything else, our health, our reputation, what other people do, is ultimately outside our control. The secret to a tranquil and virtuous life is to focus all our energy on what we can control and to accept everything else with equanimity. Is Meditations hard to read? It can be. It was never intended for publication, so it doesn't have a traditional narrative structure. It's a collection of fragmented thoughts, aphorisms, and self-reminders. Some passages are crystal clear and incredibly powerful, while others are more cryptic. The key is not to read it like a novel, but to approach it as a book of daily reflections. Read a small passage, think about it, and try to apply it to your day. What is Stoicism exactly? Stoicism is a school of Hellenistic philosophy founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BC. It teaches that virtue, the highest good, is based on knowledge, and that the wise live in harmony with the divine reason, also identified with fate and providence, that governs nature. Stoics are not meant to be emotionless, but rather to be free from destructive emotions like anger, envy, and greed by mastering their judgments. How is Stoicism different from being Stoic with a lowercase s? This is a crucial distinction. In modern language, being Stoic means being unemotional or impassive, bottling up your feelings. Ancient Stoicism is the opposite. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding where they come from. Stoics believe that destructive emotions are the result of errors in judgment. The goal is not to feel nothing, but to feel the right things, to experience joy, love, and a sense of purpose while being free from the turmoil of negative emotions. Which translation of Meditations is the best? This is a common question, and the answer depends on your goal. For a modern, accessible, and powerful translation, the Gregory Hayes version is widely recommended. It's written in contemporary English and captures the spirit of Marcus's advice. For a more literal and scholarly translation, the Martin Hammond version is excellent. If you're just starting, you can't go wrong with Hayes. Why is a Roman emperor's private journal still so relevant today? Because the problems of being human haven't changed. We still deal with difficult people, face our own mortality, struggle with distraction, and seek a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius wasn't writing from an ivory tower. He was a man in the arena dealing with war, plague, and immense responsibility. His advice is timeless because it's grounded in the fundamental challenges of the human condition.